Hello book lovers, and welcome back or welcome to Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe. Today I am going to take you book shopping with me in Portland, Oregon. So before we get started, this is Loki. I don't show him very much because he doesn't love being picked up. I mean, look how huge he is. Oh my gosh. Here he is. He kept me up most of the night, didn't you? All right, I know. Whoa. Okay. Whew, that was my workout for the day. All right, so essentially I am heading down to Portland to meet a friend who lives down there, and they're going to go ahead and introduce me to some of the small indie books that are located in Portland. Outside of Powell's, which is that really ginormous bookstore that is down there, I have actually never gone to any bookstores in Portland, so I am really excited to have the opportunity to check these out. And I decided that since it's my first time seeing these, and obviously it is important to go ahead and hype up your local indie bookstores, that I would go ahead and vlog this experience and give you a little bit of a book haul. Should I be buying books right now? No, okay. As someone who is about to film another book haul, I have so many books that I've hauled recently that it's actually a little bit embarrassing, but that is not going to stop me from giving these bookstores the money they deserve. So I'm going to try and limit myself to like 1 or 2 books per bookstore. So fingers crossed that is what actually happens, but who knows? I am in a slump right now, and there is something about being in a slump where I just start accumulating a bunch of books. It's like my body is like, okay, we're not in the mood for any of the books we have, so we have to get more. I don't know. Yeah, so it's a very inconvenient habit of mine. But that being said, I am probably going to head out in just a little bit. It is a little bit under 2 hours for me to drive down there. I'm going to go ahead and grab some lunch with my friend, and then we're going to hit the bookstores.
I don't want to call you later. Nothing breaks it freely when there's love on the line.
care so much, 'cause me and her don't make sense and it fucks me up. I'm still in love, but love sucks. Before you and what was hers was mine. And I'm sorry, I swear I thought that my heart was ready, but I can't keep her off my mind. And I'm not alright. Had a thought when I was faded, why they call it love when you hate it. I'm still in love with my ex and it's just my luck. Wish I didn't care so much, 'cause me and her don't make sense and it bugs me up. I'm still in love but love sucks. Love sucks. Love sucks. Let me lay you in inside my brain, 'cause I don't really have the heart to say. Take a look in there, tell me if it's anything you wanna fuck with. Probably not, honestly you'll never take a place. When I look at you I see your face. Yeah, 6 a.m. we're taking shots in the morning up on the counter. Like oh my god, had a thought when I was faded, why they call it love when you hate it. I'm still in love with my ex and it's just my luck. Wish I didn't care so much, 'cause me and her don't make sense and it bugs me up. I'm still in love but love sucks. Love sucks. And I'm sorry, I swear I thought that my heart was ready, but I can't keep her off my mind. And I'm sorry, you want me, I want her, she don't want me, but I can't keep her off my mind.
Alright guys, so it is the following day and I am off work, so I'm gonna go ahead and haul all the books that I got yesterday during my trip to Portland. It is quite a few books. No surprise there. So I got a few books from the bookstores that we visited. Also, my friend gave me some books that she was looking to get off of her shelf. So I will kind of go through them book by book. Just more books added to my shelf. I will say, I believe the video you'll see after this, I'm kind of mixing up my schedule a little bit, still trying to figure out like when exactly I'm posting these videos, but I'm pretty sure that the video you will see right after this is gonna be like an overall book haul, so you'll probably see these again, but I'll go a little bit more in depth about what they're about in this video, because that next haul is gonna be pretty big, and so I'm definitely not gonna be diving deep into those books. So let us begin. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the bookstores and then end with the books that my friend was kind enough to pass on to me. So the first bookstore we actually went to the library first, and they had like a little bookstore in there, which I think was primarily used books, but I didn't end up getting anything there. But then we went across the street to the bookstore called Grand Gestures, and this is a bookstore that is focused on romance, and I ended up getting 2 books from there. The first one is going to be The Duke Who Didn't by Courtney Milan. This is a book that I've been wanting to get for quite some time. It just kind of speaks to me for some reason. I have to admit, nowadays it is relatively rare for me to see a hetero romance and be like, yes, I need to read that. I don't know if it's because they are Asian characters or what, but essentially in this book we are following a woman who had a sweetheart when she was younger, and she kind of told him that he needs to grow up, he needs to become more serious. So essentially she told him, like, if you can't be serious, then you just need to leave, like we can't be together. And he does leave. However, 3 years later he kind of shows up back in town, and it seems like while he's definitely grown as a person, he's still his same self and everything. However, he really did try to change. He's like, that's just not who I am, and I'm hoping that you can find it in your heart to love me as I am. And on top of that, something she did not know is that he actually is a duke and owns her village. So I'm excited to go ahead and check this out. The person at the bookstore said that this is one of Courtney's more kind of funny, lighthearted stories. It seems like this author either will break your heart or make you laugh. I've never read this author before, but I am excited to check out her work. The second book I picked up is, I believe, a YA story, and that is The Wicked Bargain by Gabe Colnova. This is an author I have read before. I read their book Most Ardently, which was like a historical romance that was based off of Pride and Prejudice. So this is a fantasy story. I believe we're following a trans character. So they are trans and non-binary, and they made a deal with essentially the devil, Diablo, El Diablo, and this gave them a pirate ship. However, the devil has come to collect and has killed their crew and taken their father's soul with him. And so now our character is faced with an impossible choice. The devil has found out that our character has these magical abilities of fire and ice, and says that they can either take their father's place essentially in hell, or their father will go ahead and stay down there. But our character is determined to find a third solution to their problem. So sounds intriguing. I am excited to check it out. I know I like this author, and we stan a trans character. All right, so up next, I hope I'm remembering the order that we went to things correctly, but I believe up next we went to Always Here Bookstore, which is a all queer bookstore, and I ended up getting 2 books from here. Again, the first one is gonna be The Sapling Cage. This is by Margaret Killjoy. This is a book that I've seen kind of floating around recently. Once again, we are following a trans main character. In this case, they are wanting to become a witch. However, only women are supposed to be witches, and they were born in a male body. However, one day the coven comes to collect their friend, and our character actually takes her place, and they start to learn about witchcraft and everything. But they also find out that there is a power mad duchess, and she is crushing everything between her and the crown. So they have some political drama going on, and on top of that, we kind of have our character finding their place but fearing losing it. If the coven ever found out that they were biologically male, they're worried that they would be kicked out of the coven, or potentially something even worse would happen to them. So stunning cover and intriguing concept. The other book I found there is one I've literally never heard about, and it was kind of fun to take a look at some books that I haven't seen before. It's not very often that I pick up stories where I'm like, I've literally never heard anyone talking about it. So I went ahead and picked up a short story collection. This is written by a collection of 30 trans and gender nonconforming creators. Essentially, they are all within the horror genre. It lists a few of them on the back, and it just sounds kind of crazy. It says a centaur seeks illicit surgery and an alien bodily modification club. We have 2 medieval monks react to their transformation and demonic pregnancy in very different ways. A resourceful trans teen destroys sports bigots through the power of pluckiness and abundant body horror. This one sounds crazy. A stellar cathedral crosses galaxies to dump the corpse of God into a star before the mission devolves into a panoply. That I can't say that word. It's like I can kind of say it in my head, but I can't like form it. into a panoply of psychedelic orgies. The corpse of God. What? And then it says a detox teen falls a victim to violent assault and dishes out some harrowing retribution of their own. It says over 30 trans and gender nonconforming creators unite to voice their rage, and the rules of conventional horror go out the fucking window in this collection featuring murderous pleasure bots, proselytizing zombies, acid-filled alien cops, science run amok, sorcerers, ghouls, cannibals, and that barely scratches the grave dirt. So again, Your Body Is Not Your Body is the title of this book. It's relatively short, so considering there's like potentially over 30 stories in here, they really are going to be very short. But when it comes to like short stories, horror is the genre that works the best for me. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll find some new trans authors to check out some other work from them. Up next, we went to Mid Slumber Media, and this was a horror store that had books as well as like movies, and I ended up getting one book there, and that is going to be Jawbone by Monica Ojeda. Now this this is actually not the book that I thought I was picking up. Like, I have this book on my TBR. This is a book that I'm interested in, and so I recognized the cover, but I didn't read the synopsis on the back because I mixed it up with Goddess of Filth, which is another horror about kind of female friendship by a Hispanic author. But so it's not the book I thought I was getting, but it's still one I'm interested in. It essentially says Fernanda and Annalise are so close they are practically sisters, a double image, inseparable. So how does Fernanda end up bound on the floor of a deserted cabin held hostage by one of her teachers and estranged from Annalise? So at some point I read the full synopsis of this, but considering it's a horror, the less I know going into it, the better. So I'll just keep it at that. But I am excited to go ahead and check this out. All right, and our final stop was Melville Books. So these were all used books, and they were quite inexpensive. So I got a few of them. Some of them, or two of them, I've read before. I went ahead and got Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. This is a book I used to own, but I got rid of many a year ago. However, it is a book that I remember reading. It made me cry. I remember it was one of the books that made me sob. It is very rare for me to remember reading a book that I don't have physically on my bookshelves. My memory is just not that great, and I read so many books. So the fact that this book has stuck with me, I decided to go ahead and just pick up this, what was it, $3? Yeah, for $3, just to have it for nostalgia's sake, and in case I ever want to read something that I know will make me cry, I guess I can reread that. If you're not familiar with this book, essentially we are following a young girl who gets left behind when her people move on to another land. Essentially, she's left behind on this island, and for years she and her dog need to go ahead and survive on their own and hope that someday someone comes back for them. So it was a very interesting story, and I'm glad to have it. The other book that I've read is going to be Animal Farm by George Orwell. I just thought that this was like a cute little version of it. This was a book that I read in high school English class, and I remember being very disturbed by it. I don't know if it's something I would ever be able to bring myself to read again. I know that I reread 1984 a couple years ago or something. His books definitely are disturbing to read, but I figured I would go ahead and have it on my shelves. Now, I did get another George Orwell book, which actually I believe is nonfiction, and it's called Why I Write. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. I just thought that this little book kind of about George Orwell, I'm assuming talking about like why he decided to write the books that he wrote and what inspired him. And considering the current state of our world, I think it would be very interesting to learn more about an author that has written books that feel so poignant for this day and age. So decided to pick this little dude up. Then I picked up 2 more nonfictions since they were only $10 a piece, and you know, nonfictions can be really expensive. The first one is gonna be Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent by Isabella Wilkerson. This is a book that I've seen quite a few people read, including people who don't often pick up nonfiction, and heard a lot of praise for it. I've been wanting to read it for a while, but like I said, nonfiction is expensive. This bad boy was originally $32, so very happy to get it for $10, especially considering it is in very good condition. Now, what exactly is this about? It examines the unspoken caste system that has shaped America and shows how our lives today are still defined by a hierarchy of human divisions. So, color me intrigued. And then the second one is going to be Jesus and John Wayne, How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Fractured a Nation by Kristen Kobes-Dumez. This is a book I've heard really good things about. There's another book called Wild Faith that I'm really interested in that came out more recently. This one came out during Trump's first presidency back in 2021. If I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check my facts, something this administration doesn't do. Yeah, so it looks like it originally came out in 2021. I am someone who's very interested and like to stay informed about religious extremism, especially as it is impacting our politics more and more, it seems, these days. So it's definitely something I want to stay informed about, and this is a book that comes highly regarded. So went ahead and snatched that up when I saw it. So those are the books that I got from the bookstores. Now I have a few that I got from my friend directly. Hi, Loki. Hi. Oh, Loki's here. I'm not gonna try and pick him up because he's on a mission to go elsewhere. All right, so she was nice enough to give me 5 books. Thank you. So up first we have Red Air. This is by Lisa Henry and Sarah Honey. This is a book that has been on my TBR for years. It's probably one of the older books that is on my Goodreads TBR. I was very surprised when she had it because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone talking about that book. So since you have a copy of it, I will go ahead and take it because I know my library doesn't have it. Hi, Tofu. All the kitties are coming. Hi, baby. How's the baby tofu butt? Come here. Come here. Oh, plop. You gonna plop? You gonna plop? Scoopa doopa. Scoopa doopa. You sit down. Sit down. Let me say hi. He's like, oh my gosh, I don't care about these people. I don't care about these people. Let me say hi. Say hello. Hi. All right. So now I am 100% covered in cat hair. All right, so the synopsis. Imprisoned Picklock Loth isn't sure why a bunch of idiots just broke into a cell claiming they're here to rescue the lost prince of Agulian, and he doesn't really care. They're looking for a red-headed prince, and he's more than happy to play along if it means freedom. Then his cranky cellmate Grub complicates things by claiming to be the prince as well. Now they're fleeing across the country and Loth's stuck sharing a horse and a bedroll with Grub while imitating royalty, eating eel porridge, and dodging swamp monsters and bandits. Along the way, Loth discovers that there's more to Grub than meets the eyes. Under the dirt and bad attitude, Grub's not completely awful. He might even be attractive, and in fact, Loth has a terrible suspicion that he's developing feelings, and he's not sure what to do about that. He'd probably have more luck figuring it out if people would just stop trying to kill them. Still, at least they've got a dragon, right? And there's a dragon. So that sounds like it'll be humorous. I honestly feel like it's slightly giving like TJ Klune, the Lightning Thief vibes. Like whenever I read that, I'm thinking like it'll kind of make me laugh like that. I feel like I'm starting to get snuffly, like my allergies are not that great. Up next, we have The Weight of Stars by Kay Ankrum. I recently read Icarus. In fact, me and this friend Buddy read that, and I fell in love with their writing, and so I need to go ahead and read everything that they have written, and I guess this will be next. This one is a sapphic story. We have two different characters, one who is living in a trailer park, and she really wants to be kind of like an astronaut or work for the space program, but due to her financial situation, she knows that that's not likely to happen, and she's in high school right now, and she's kind of lashing out a lot because she's just someone who knows that she's not going to be living the life that she wants to, and that makes her very angry. And one day she meets this other girl who kind of rudely rejects her offer of friendship, but then this other girl gets into an accident that causes her to break her arm, and she needs help climbing to the roof of her house every night so that she can try and communicate with her mother, who is on a mission to the edge of space. And this is kind of like a one-way mission, like she's never coming back. So it seems like our two girls are going to start getting to know each other as they climb up on this roof every night and try to communicate with the people among the stars. So this is a book that I think I've heard mixed things about, so I will be interested to see what I think of it. Up next, we have Teach the Torches to Burn, a Romeo and Juliet remix by Caleb Roerig, I believe is how you pronounce that. So I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the Gabe Cole Nova book that I read most ardently, which was a Pride and Prejudice remix. Apparently this is part of like a companion series. Like they're not really connected in any way, but they're all like queer retellings of well-known stories, and this is the Romeo and Juliet version of that. You can see some of the other ones, so that was the one that I've read so far. So like I said, this is obviously a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I have read Romeo and Juliet many a years ago. I was never a big fan of Shakespeare, so oftentimes when I see a book is like a retelling of one of his stories, it is a little bit of a turnoff for me, but make it gay and I'll make an exception, okay? And we are following Romeo, and he, I guess, is someone who's really passionate about the arts, but he is constantly being told by his family that that is not something that men really should be passionate about. I don't know what men are supposed to be passionate about, but not art, apparently. And also he obviously is supposed to get married and have an heir, and he is really kind of panicking about that because he's like not attracted to women. And then one day he meets Valentine, and they kind of try to have like a secret relationship because obviously their families are feuding constantly. So not really sure what else is gonna happen in here. I have never read Pride and Prejudice, so I don't know how true to the story Most Ardently stayed, or how true to the story these books usually stay, because as we know, Romeo and Juliet die. It's a tragedy more so than a romance, so I'm hoping for a happy ending, but what can I say? I'm an optimist. Two more to go. We have Here We Go Again by Alison Cottram. This, I feel like I said her name wrong. Cottram? There, I think I said Cottram. It's Cottram with an N. And this is the author of The Charm Offensive, which I gave 5 stars. I believe this is a second chance romance. These two were together, but something had happened in their youth to kind of send them in different directions and they're just, you know, not really getting on anymore. However, a teacher of theirs that they used to love very much contacts them to inform him that he is unfortunately very ill and doesn't have long to live and wants to go on this road trip with them. And the two of them obviously cannot say no to that, and so they are going on this road trip, and I'm assuming they will reconnect, and I'm assuming I will cry because that sounds really sad, but I know that I enjoy this author and that they do a really good job with diversity as well as like mental health representation. So excited to have this. And then finally, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here. I need to go in the house where there's less pollen and less sun. I don't even want to think about. I'm probably getting a sunburn. I'm not wearing sunscreen right now. I know, it's terrible. Guys, wear sunscreen. What's to say, don't do what I do, do as I say kind of situation. But the final book is going to be A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. This is a book that I have wanted for a long time. In fact, we were at a bookstore and I was looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, I've wanted this book for a long time. And Lon was like, yeah, I know. It's one of the books I'm giving you. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So this is a standalone. It says a standalone. I don't know. It is a fantasy. It is a male romance. So in this book, I believe we have a little bit of romance, a little bit of politics, a little bit of mystery. We have is he a prince? Yes, he is a prince. And he seems to have gotten himself in trouble with the father of one of the queen's children, and because of this, to kind of bring about peace between the families, his sister has offered to look into some break-ins that are occurring, and I believe he is joining in alongside the new bodyguard. And it seems like a lot of the royals are able to like touch metals. It says touch, taste precious metals with their fingers. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming that they can tell when it's a counterfeit, and it seems like a lot of their artifacts are being stolen and replaced, and this is like a huge deal and everything. So I have heard primarily good things about this, so I am excited to finally have it on my physical TBR, and hopefully that means that I will get to it. It would be great if I got to it this year because I think it's over 500 pages. Yeah, it's literally 500 pages, like exactly. And I have a goal to read 10 books over 500 pages this year, and I have read one. I have read one so far, and today's the last day of June. So we're not doing very well. All right, guys. So those are all the books that I bought and received in Portland. Like I said, another book haul coming next week where you will realize how many books I've been buying. And it is a problem. It is very much a problem. My room is a little bit of a disaster right now because I do not have the shelf space for all the books. Please don't kill that butterfly. Yeah, we like butterflies. I do not have space for all the books that I have been buying, especially considering the fact that I'm not reading them because I am still slumping. But yes, what can I say? My hobbies are reading and buying books. Thank you again, Lon, for showing me around Portland. These are bookstores I've never visited before, but they are definitely ones that I would love to return to. I had a really great time meeting you and exploring Portland a little bit more. I definitely went to some areas that I was unfamiliar with. So thank you for that. And thank you everyone for watching this vlog. Let me know your favorite bookstore that you go shopping at in your area. As always, guys, thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.